Today, we are starting a new series
Yep.
called Meet the Woman Behind the Brand because you've heard me talk so many times, right? We want to know who's behind and the inspiration behind the
Yep.
brand. So we're here. If you have not met her, this is Dany, and she is the owner and the designer behind the Maison Mahjong. No, not Maison, Mise
Mise
on
en.
Mahjong. I can't
Yep.
say it right. Can you say it for
Sorry.
me?
Mise en Mahjong.
Mise en Mahjong. It's kind of like mise en place for the kitchen, right? Yes.
Exactly. And mise en scene, which is to set a scene,
Uh huh.
because setting a scene at your Mahjong table is very important.
Absolutely. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
Good. So, in this series, I'm going to be asking four questions.
Okay.
And the first one is just simply, how did you get started in the Mahjong journey and what inspired you to get into this business?
Sure. Well, I'm wearing my Mahjong pajamas
Love
because
that.
my journey basically started in my pajamas. I gonna brush over this quickly because I hate to focus on sadness and stuff like that. But after 7 years of infertility and all of the fertility drugs that they put you on, they found last year 4 hormone positive tumors in my breasts.
Wow.
And so I had to go through all the treatments and I had surgery. And it was kind of this big dark storm cloud over me for more time than I would want.
Mhm.
And I am just a workaholic by nature. I never really took time off, and this really forced me to slow down. All my friends at the same time were really getting into Mahjong and playing, and they're like, oh, you would love this so much because of, my interior design background. You're going to be obsessed with buying the sets and making the tables and, all the things. And they're like, you need to play. And since I wasn't, really doing much after surgery and I was in my pajamas, they came to me.
That's so sweet.
And they came to me, let me be in my pajamas, and taught me how to play. It's something, it was kind of always like in my 10-year plan to play. My, grandma played, my aunt played. I'd always seen it. I was like, oh, this is just something I'm going to do later in life,
Eventually. Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it would be now. And it was so awesome to see so many younger people getting into it. You play so much longer in your life now, right?
Yeah.
And so my friends came, they taught me, they spent time with me, they encouraged me to, not be alone. And, now that I'm back at work, I had never really taken time during the day to like
Mhm.
meet for lunch or, play tennis or do anything. I really am making a point to play once a week, take 2 hours for myself to connect with my people and not be like isolated at my office. So
That's so good.
it's
We
it's
need that
really,
community. Yeah.
yeah, it really kind of helped lift my storm cloud over
Yeah.
my head. And now it's a priority and something that really, makes me feel good. And I think makes the people that you're with in that moment feel good altogether.
That's
Um,
that's incredible. I think, as designers, you leave the design that you do behind and you don't get to share with everybody, and to
yeah,
share a table to create this that you can show it, like share with other people, is so
right.
special because it really does come from your creative self, which is very, very intimate. And it's interesting. I don't know if you know this about me, but I went through 5 years of infertility and surgeries.
I didn't know that. I'm
And
sorry.
yeah, through my 30 to 35, all I did was
Okay.
basically hit my head on a absolute cement wall. So I didn't have the cancer journey, but I did have the infertility one. So much to talk about.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
And so when, I started getting more and more into Mahjong and buying, other people's stuff and putting it all together, what I really wanted was a set to leave out my house
Yeah.
that looked like my house. And my house is very neutral farmhouse style. Sage green is the only allowed color.
Basically,
And
that's the first edition that you created.
so exactly. And so nobody, I mean, I scoured the end of the world, like end of the internet. Like I could not find anything in that color scheme. And
Mhm.
there was one set that would have worked perfect, and I'm still trying to get my hands on it. And it was sold out and not available. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just make one for myself. How hard can this be? And oh my God, let me tell you guys, it is so hard. It is so much work. It is never worth it to just do one. And you can't even get a good manufacturer to make
Yeah.
one. You have to make 100. So that was kind of how the first collection evolved. 100 was not a number to be exclusive. It was
Yeah.
because I didn't know if this was going to work. And it's
Yeah.
a big risk to take on, more than, the minimum required. And I just wanted to test and say, here's what I have to offer. And if people see if
See
anyone
what
likes it.
happens, what
Yeah,
response. Yeah, yeah. Well, that takes me to my second question.
sure.
What's been the most fulfilling part of this? And I guess what you just touched on, what's been the most challenging part of, getting into this journey?
Honestly, the most fulfilling part of this is becoming part of this community and being
Yeah, that's
welcomed
great.
into it, not only from other founders that I connect with, like, a challenge, right? I'll answer this in two parts because they kind of go together.
Yeah,
A challenge is manufacturing. I mean, we're working in a time zone that's 12 hours different. The 2 a.m. conference calls, the zero regulations, like you sign a contract, they don't have to honor it. Um,
yeah,
we our my first designs were counterfeited and sold, like, almost a year of my work just like stolen off the internet.
before you
It's like
even get to put it in people's hands.
I don't even, they're making replicas of mine, obviously lower end, not the same materials, not
Yeah,
hand painted, but people are going to get those, in a couple weeks, and my clients don't even have theirs yet. And it was heartbreaking. And so many people who saw that, these were being advertised, other founders, not just
yeah,
customers, reached out to me and they're like, this happened to me. And, they kind of supported this little like network of, you're not alone. We're all
yeah,
going through it. This is a safe place to cry or
yeah,
complain or whatever. And that is just incredible. And I think also just, the buyers and followers who have reached out with, different funny stories, sad stories. There was this beautiful moment that happened last week, when we launched our pre-sale. I care a lot, like maybe too much, and I'm probably over engineering everything and delaying everything because of my OCD, but I really want the quality and everything to be so perfect, and I'm not willing to make sacrifices for that.
yeah,
And everybody who comes to the website and checks out or like puts something in their cart and then leaves, right? That's somebody who it wasn't for them, and I'm just curious why. So I email everyone and we get feedback. And this usually it's just like, it was the price or not the right time, or my husband said no. I
yeah.
have too many. So
Yeah.
standard stuff. And last week it was the day after, so it was like within 24 hours of our pre-sale launching. I got this beautiful email um, from a customer, and she was telling me that she's going through like year 5 of her infertility, and they've spent so much money on it, and she needs to save for, she's at the point where she needs a surrogate. And I don't know what it was, but like my whole like soul filled with goosebumps, and I don't cry. It's like I have like a tear duct deficiency, I think. I don't know what it is, but it's very hard for me to cry. And I was in hysterical tears. I immediately
Oh,
like
'cause
ran
you know what that feels.
I immediately ran downstairs to show with my computer to show
Yeah,
my husband. And I was like, I want to give her a set. Like, I've never been like, she's like, it was her dream set, but she doesn't feel like she should be spending on herself right
yeah,
now because she's trying to grow her family, which I totally understand. And I sent back like, an email about how touched, and said it would be my honor to gift you
yeah.
a
That's
set.
great.
And I didn't hear back from her.
Yeah,
And I mean, I was just like so sad. I was like, did I like get spoofed or something? Or like,
yeah,
I was vulnerable with her. I shared my story about how my last miscarriage, I lost at 22 weeks, and that was the end for me. I put the nail in the coffin. I couldn't get over it after that. And it was probably like, I don't know, 10 p.m. after like within whatever 36 hours of pre-sale. And it was this strange thing where it's like, I mean, you were following along with me and we were chatting about it. It was like everything, a lot sold really fast. And then it was like, one and then another and then another. And we had one left for like hours. And I was like, it was just like, whatever, one left, big deal, like, what I
Yeah.
mean. But it was like, it was just hours, and I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm not waiting anymore.
Yeah.
It'll become somebody's, maybe eventually. There's no rush,
Yeah.
like, you know and I woke up the next morning. It had obviously sold out. The last one, I got the email back from this girl, and she told me the story of how she saw my email, and she was like so moved, and she didn't know how to respond,
Mm.
and because she was so touched, and she like walked out of wherever she was, and she saw these three yellow butterflies together,
Oh,
and she was like, I feel like those were our babies in heaven together. And it was this sign that, like, I need to, I've been through a lot too, and I need to invest in myself and do things for myself that are happy. And I want this set because it's going to last forever.
forever.
Like, for, resin, right? Obviously
Yeah.
resin. She's like, I want to make the investment for the longevity so that my future kids can see this set too when I get them. And she was the last
She bought it.
customer. She's the last one.
Wow.
She got it. There was one set
Wow.
left, and it was out there for hours. It
It
was
was
like,
waiting for her, you know?
it was waiting for her. And like, I mean, I was just, this whole thing that happened, I was like, this is why I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so much more than a game, you know? It's
yeah,
so much more than a game. It's the connections and the community is incredible. And this kind of stories where, when you share earlier this last month about the cancer, there were so many others that came up and they were like, this is also what got me out of the bed, this, and
mhm,
it's just, it's so much more. That's why I think we put so much, we always make fun of like, oh, collections and crazy money and stuff, but that's just the surface, there's
right,
so much connection and community behind it, but that's really what makes it, so special.
right. It
Yeah.
really is. And it, I struggle with, another challenge is, there's always negative feedback. Anything you do. I'm not ice
Of
cream.
course, you can never please
I
everybody.
can't please everyone. And as a
Yeah.
perfectionist, that's obviously very hard for me. And when you see it for the first time, like, I was always a service, and we weren't very forward on social media. So this is all new to me.
Yeah.
When you get negative feedback, you usually get it directly from your client. You address it, you fix it, whatever. To
Yes.
see it publicly, right? When you're
Spread
putting,
out. Yeah.
yeah, was hard. And so I, was still trying to figure out, am I positioning myself the right way? Is this product that it is expensive, but
Yeah.
my whole point was, I want to create something that is, go for a long time. Not,
Yeah.
I don't just play with it for a few years, get sick of it, and
No, I
then
mean
be
it's
like, it
it's meant to
wasn't
be the
that
set
much.
that you
Yeah,
pass on, that generations down they can say, my grandma plays with this. How many times we hear from people that have that, the luck, right? That
right,
my grandma played with this set and this is the special set, and there's a lot of vintage ones that are falling apart because of material, and in your case that one will last forever, and it's a beautiful thing to own. I don't think it's part of the collection. I think that's just like a special piece
right,
that, the joy of playing with it. I always think like in those vintage sets, they infuse love and
yeah,
conversations and nights into those tiles. It just means, again, so much more than just a
right.
game. Yeah.
And it is a lot more work, but I feel like if I'm gonna bring something to new, right, I want it to be, forever. And plus, I'm playing now younger than I had planned
Yeah.
to play, and I was like, I mean, if I start playing on it now, what I'm gonna love it so much, I want to play in it in 20 years. Or like,
Yeah.
my daughter's getting into it and she's only 10. Like, I want her to have this, the
The same
stuff that I
set. Yeah,
created.
for
I think
sure.
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I joke, we've become friends with, so many other founders who are incredible. And we always joke, we're like, well, at least when we're in the nursing home together when we're 80, we can plan our tiles and we'll be so cool.
That would be so fun. That would be so fun. Kind of like, what was your tile? Okay, let's bring your tile. No, next time I'm bringing my tiles.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. So, just to wrap it up, tell us something that maybe we don't know. You've shared so much about you, but
Yeah.
maybe something fun or different that we don't know about you. And then anything that is coming in the future exciting that you would like to share with us.
Sure. Well, I'm a first generation American. So,
What's your background?
an only child of Russian immigrants.
Oh,
So if
cool.
that says anything to my work ethic, you guys know I was never allowed to fail in my childhood. So I will not fail you. I promise. It is not in my DNA. And I live in Naples, Florida. I spent a lot of time in New York City before coming down here. I have two little tiny dogs. I am a bonus mom. Uh, I'm not that, I'm just kind of a normal person. I'm not that interesting. I do a
Okay,
lot of,
that's good. I mean, I
I
didn't know
do,
that your background was Russian. That's super
yeah,
cool.
I
And then
do,
something exciting from the future, maybe
mhm,
something coming that you would like to share?
yeah. So I have been obviously listening to everyone and stuff like that. And so we are working on doing, we kind of unbundled some of our sets so that you can do more mix and match. So we're going to be launching accessories. And what I'm trying to do is do colorways. We have our one signature mat, the nail head.
Yeah.
That is our thing. We love it. We're going to do different combinations. And what we want to do is make them so a lot of them can mix and match throughout the sets. So because, they're a little more expensive in terms of material and the nail heads,
Yeah.
are not cheap, but they're so cool. I want you to be able to, buy one and use it for multiple sets of ours. You don't have to buy one with each set. So I'm really excited about the mix and match elements of those and the accessories coming out. And we are developing storage solutions.
Good. You know, it's my favorite.
And because of your request, we are starting with rack storage.
I have you guys know that I go through like the kitchen stuff in Amazon and I go through everything to
Yeah,
find solutions for storage. And I told Dany a few weeks ago, I was like, this is what I need for racks. We need
yeah,
vertical, we need levels, we need this. And I was like, they don't make it anywhere. She was like, I think we can figure that out. So I
yeah,
can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see. I love storage. It's something that we all struggle with. So I can't wait to see all the
yeah.
accessories.
Yeah, thank you. So that's just something fun, and it's, you don't have, if you, I mean, a lot of people are like, I have 50 tile sets. I'm not spending on the heirloom set right now. I'm going to play with what I have, and that's great. But, we'd love to offer you, a pretty box to store all your gorgeous sets in, or, all these racks you've collected, or mats. How are we storing mats? Mats is such an issue
Yeah.
too. And I deal with this as I'm thinking about, as inventory comes in and I'm going to have to keep it, how do I protect and preserve it so that you get it in the same
That's one of the
quality
things. Like,
I
I
get it?
love the clips and the hanging, but I don't do
You
that
need
to the
more.
leatherettes because the
Right.
leatherette's going to get marked. So I have to
Right.
put it in a bag or in a tube. And that takes more physical square footage and like what used to be my office, which now is
Mhm.
basically Mahjong storage unit. But I mean, it's organized and pretty, but different pieces, even within the category of mats, require
Right.
different things. You know, like the one that is like a rug, I don't want to put the indentation either. So that's so great that you're doing that. And I'm so excited and I
Yeah.
can't wait to see all the great stuff coming. I want to thank you for
Yeah.
time because I think you're
Thank you
traveling with
so
your daughter
much.
right now.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing this and
Thank you.
I know you're not natural like coming in and putting a camera in front of you. I am not either, but I'm getting used to it.
You're
But I
so
want to
good.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And yeah, we're going to start doing this every Friday. Next week, we're going to have two of the three members from Miss Mahjong also sharing the stories. So thank you so much, Dany. I hope everybody has a great day. I hope you get to play
Thank
Mahjong today.